started my photography journey like about 6 years ago. After my NYSC, I went for a training at a studio close to my place that time. I started the studio, and then I later found out that I had more passion and interest in landscape and nature. So I went into that and then documentary. Along the line, I stopped for a while. Then I went for digital marketing training at that time to be able to support my business, which actually led to what I do currently, sales of equipment and backdrops. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Eko.
My name is Richard Namdele Eko. My photography journey started while I was in school. Apparently I was sharing the same room with a photographer called Darrell then. It was mid-90s. And I watched him with analog make $1 million in one day in Benin City, University of Benin to be precise. I was captivated, but I never knew I would end up here in photography. So professionally, I kicked off with Kelechi Amadiobi, handling his business arm. Never touched the camera while I was in that office. But I'm pretty happy I didn't touch the camera then. Because the depth of my photography knowledge is actually in the business side. After leaving Kelechi, I consulted for photographers and cinematographers for 2 years, and then Nikon came, and I worked with Nikon as the head of marketing and brand communications for 3 years. Immediately I left Nikon, I joined a company called Pixel. It's an online photography platform that helps photographers grow their businesses, and I worked there for 2 years. And precisely last year, 2001, I came back to my own business, which is Sigma 5, which is more of a marketing and consultancy outfit. But along the line, I got frustrated with a lot of photographers because they basically were not seeing what I was saying. And I picked up the camera and started shooting myself. And just to show them that, look, what you're doing can be done, but if you don't apply these principles, which is not a hard thing, you can get to where you want to get. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Eko.
Okay, good morning. My name is Onome Ijeta. I'm a trader, and I know some of you will laugh. I came into photography because I wanted to be a businessman. Not actually that I wanted to do photography. I love business. I was in the university studying nursing. But in class, my colleagues would see me and they would call me business nurse because I had the capacity to sell. I could sell anything to them. So I was looking for what to do. Okay, what will I do? Because I wasn't passionate about the nursing I was studying. I know it's a very, very lucrative course. In fact, when you're there, they will tell you once you finish, just travel abroad, leave this country, you make more money as a nurse. So, but I saw within myself that I wasn't really fulfilling the inner passions of my heart. So I asked God for direction, what to do. So one day I walked into a studio, a business center in Delta. So I saw lovely pictures hanged on the wall. And I looked at the pictures the photographer that used to snap our family, used to present to us. They were different. They were looking unique. I said, so what really took this kind of image? So when I asked, they were not telling me it's a camera, it's this, it's that. I said, so the camera can produce this quality. That day I fell in love with pictures and I said I was going to study this thing. So right there and then, I made up my mind, okay, where will I go and learn this thing? Since the person I want to learn from is not, he will not give me the opportunity to learn from. So that was when I took the decision, and I asked a lot of questions. So some people said you could learn in Lagos. So I will leave school from all the way from Ebonyi State. I'll come to Lagos, sit down and learn. I'll go back, learn and go back. So when I did that, in fact, because of my passion for photography that I want to learn, I came and bought equipment and I failed to buy camera. But the passion was stronger. The passion was stronger. So that was how I came into photography. So later on, I now discovered that beyond photography, most of us, one of the mistakes we make is that we don't see ourselves as businessmen. We see ourselves as photographers. So moving our products from being photographers to becoming a businessman is actually the problem a lot of us have in this industry. Don't just see yourself as a photographer. So I knew that doing this thing will not get me to where I want to get to. So I started seeing opportunities because I knew I could convert what was in my hands to product to another person and I'll make money from it. So that was how we started our brand, Camera.
Thank you very much. Round of applause, please.
Good morning, friends, the professionals in the industry.
Good morning.
I'm Anthony Isaac, co-founder of Indigo Digital. If I want to talk about my journey, it's a bit long, but let me make it short and give few. While I'm celebrating my 25th years of photography printing industry, if I may recall about my journey, I need to start from my school days itself. Started photography during my high school days with my uncle's point and shot Yashica analog camera. I've been so excited to snap the pictures with that camera. So I decided to join an institute for learning photography. There was an institute called BCL Photography Institute. So I joined there, successfully trained by them. During that course, as an attachment, they trained me on manual color photo printing. It was really another excited things for me. You can see another temptation for me to move into photography, from photography to printing. So my uncle set up a small wooden box for printing black and white pictures in my house itself.
Wow.
So the printing interest is developed. So I was printing from my house, family members' photographs. We cannot get pictures from outside to print. So family members' photographs I've been printing black and white at my home only. So in between, I got an opportunity in India itself, through Konica company, for getting advanced training about photography, film developing, and printing photographs from the film. So I went there, successfully completed that course. That was really a big turning point in my career. Then there was no stop in my ladder. There are many milestones in my journey of Nigerian photography industry. For example, I am so happy and proud to say, God helped me to start digital photo printing, regular photo book production, and synthetic album production as the first person in Nigerian professional photography printing industry. So I'm very much loyal to all photographers in Nigeria for their support for me to lead the photography printing industry in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, still holding the mic, I would ask, because you made a point of being the one to start the first printing lab in Nigeria. So I want to know, when you came into Nigeria, I think that was 2003, if I'm not mistaken. 2002
January.
That's about 2 decades now.
Yes.
So what was the state of the photography? What was the state of the photography space when you came in? How did you meet photography in Nigeria? What are the things that were there that you did not see, and the things that now, that from the beginning when you were there till now, that has improved? what would you say has changed? What would you say when you came wasn't there, but now they are present now?
Okay, thank you for that question. It's a good thing. It's not that there was no photo labs during that time. There was photo labs, many labs in all throughout Nigeria. It was analog labs, and there was no new machineries in the labs. Every machineries was used one and all those things. So that it was analog era. So digital, it's like there was not up to date. The photography industry was not up to date. The Nigerian industry was not up to date compared to other part of the world. So I have decided to start digital photo printing that time. So we done that, and all other labs, they are also very cooperative. Immediately, if any new development comes, they are ready to move. They are ready to invest. So it will help photographers. All photographers can access. If only one lab does it, it cannot accessible by all the photographers, and one photo lab cannot serve for all photographers also. So I need to appreciate all the other labs also for adopting that new technology and providing those services to the great photographers. Then during that time, there was no machine. I'm talking about the printing machines now. There was no companies who are selling new machines to Nigeria. That was the problem. Then when the other outside the country, when those people like Noritsu, that was a major printing machine sales company, when they identify, yes, there are business in Nigeria, the place is developing. They started their setup in Nigeria for selling Kodak paper, for selling machineries. So I could able to get my first new digital machine in Nigeria, and other people started buying it also. So through that, when these service providers, the machine sales people came into Nigeria, it helped a lot in the industry. And main problem is the maintenance of the machines and all those things. If there is no maintenance, there will not be quality output from the machines. So they could able to provide technical persons from abroad first. Then they have trained a lot of our people here in Nigeria. Now if you look at it, all Nigeria, lot of technical people are there, very experienced for doing the repairs of printing machines and all those things. And the spare parts all is available through the suppliers. So from that time till now, there are a lot of changes. If I say every 3 to 5 years, there should be, and there is a new technology will come up. If I am as a lab person, I need to request all photographers to support photo labs. If you support them, in every 3 to 5 years, they will bring new technology for you. Because it's any new technology need to come, there is investment is needed. So your supports are required for photo labs to bring new technologies to Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Tumba, for that. I would go to the camera point, Mr. Ejeta. Now, there was something you said that was quite striking when we were talking about the fact that your photography journey, started when you entered the studio, the business center, and you saw the quality of images that was shown, and you knew that you used to take pictures yourself. Your family takes pictures, but the pictures do not have that quality you saw there, and that was what sparked something in you. Now we can say now that the photography space in Nigeria is quite big in terms of photographers and in terms of quality of image that are now surrounded everywhere now. And you can also testify that there are a lot of other quality images that we have. Now, being a retail store, how would you say that as a photography retailer, how would you contribute into taking it? Because this is not the highest we can go in Nigeria. What would you say that the retailer can do to also improve photography in Nigeria?
Okay, for the retailer to improve photography in Nigeria, it's a collective responsibility. It's not just for the retailer alone to improve photography, but we will look at it from this perspective. When you look at the photography industry in Nigeria, it has been largely developed by the informal sector. When I mean the informal sector, if you ask today now that, okay, I want to study photography as a course, and you walk around Nigeria university, how many universities are offering photography as a course? But yet the market capitalization of this industry is large. In fact, in the US, the highest employer of labor in the US are the retail companies. They employ large number of people, both those that work online and offline. So what we need to do first of all in this country is to be able to establish a formal system that will churn out quality information into the public. Because I noticed that when people access quality information, like take for instance, I was telling someone when we came in here that if I give you a phone here and somebody sees the phone in your hand and he sees a feature that excites him on that phone, I've already influenced other people to want to get that product. What happens? You've got a new information about a particular device that works. So we have to create a formal system where people are educated with new information, new technology, so that people will now have that confidence to come out and say, I need this product, I need this product. I'll give you an example. Recently, 2 Indians came to the store to purchase items. When they came, the first one, before we finished our conversation, my brother, if you see the quality of information that guy gave to me about that gadget, and he has never been a photographer before, he has never done anything. He said he's buying that particular camera because he wants to, just for hobby. But the quality of information the guy has gotten is even more than the one I have selling the product. So what am I trying to say is, now the guy came and he said this was the exact product I'm looking for. Why? Probably because he has strong knowledge, he has studied, he has done all his research on that product. So for this particular industry, we are lacking behind because the formal sector have not been developed critically. The formal sector have not been developed. And until we do that, we will not witness the kind of innovations we want to see in the retailing industry. Let me give you another example. Google saw that the kind of content the Indian community were generating, where people were subscribing to it that fast. So they decided to invest $1 billion in building server farms where you could store up information and everything. So now we need to churn out a lot of quality information. We need to provide educational platform. That's why you will see that with our brand, we always support anything education. So that once people get quality education, they will see what they want to buy and they will buy it with informed decision.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Mr. Eko, let me get to you. I like the fact that when you started, you came from the business. You came from the business angle of photography, and I'm sure you have a quite good knowledge of how to sell as a photographer. Because I said something before I called you to the stage that when we talk about the photographic industry, we oftentimes think it's all about the photographers, whereas there are other arms of photography, of things that make photography successful in Nigeria, like the retailers, like the photo finishing companies, labs, and other things, rentals, and all of that. So now, I want to, from a photographer's perspective, from a photographer's point of view, we also do retail. But basically, many of us, the way we do our retail is in selling photo books when we shoot and selling pictures. So now, what other ways, as a photographer, can we sell our products? Whether you are a portrait photographer, whether you are a landscape photographer, how do we approach retail from a very business perspective? How do we sell our product that way?
Okay, thank you. From a mindset point of view, I would like us to look at the photographer as the manufacturer of the image. Because every image you take is a creative entity of your mind. The image is your intellectual property, because in most cases, the image created cannot be replicated. An instance cannot be recovered in most cases. So the photographer needs to see himself as a creator. And the photographer also needs to understand that photography is an art that has a science feel to it and also a business side to it. When the photographer has that mindset, the photographer understands that I create like God. The photographer has to have a God mentality. And when you understand that what you create is unique. You understand that whatever any other person creates will be different. Now, the challenge we have in the industry is people want to copy. And copying defeats the initiative. Now, I'll refer to what he said, and what he said was really deep. In the world today, African images are unsaturated. But even the African photographer doesn't know the advantage he has. If you check through history, Asian images have been seen. We watch movies and all that. American images you can tell through films, still images, and the likes of stories. African images have not been captured at all. But even the Africans don't know they have that advantage. People are talking about NFTs. Right? NFTs are in your village. That village that you're not proud of, that you don't have regard for. Images that cannot be seen anywhere in the world are in that village. That people are ready to buy for $1 million or whatever. We just don't know what we have. So this part of the world has what it takes to arrest the world. Look at the music industry. Look at Nollywood. Why are they gaining attention? Film and photography is playing out in those industries. But the average photographer cannot see. So what I'm hammering on mainly is the product. But the creator of the product does not know his strength. Thank you.
Let me go to I can call you Don, right? Yeah. So, I was going through your bio, and I saw you mentored a couple of photographers, and you also made a juror. He's a juror, right? In a Wikipedia photography competition. So, now, what would you say? Like, what would you say is the lacuna when it comes, because you've mentored photographers, so you've seen people come up, you've seen people grow, you've seen what they lack. You know, when people come to you, you've seen how there's things they don't know, but you know that as they grow in their journey, they will see. Their eyes will be open to it. What would you say is that thing, that space that many photographers don't know yet, probably in terms of their business, in terms of acquiring their gadgets, in terms of putting their business together? What would you say is that lacuna, is that thing lacking in most photographers today?
Okay, I actually like that question. I've been answering this question over and over in the space of 2 to 3 years. I usually tell photographers, especially when they come to me, that okay, you have passion for this thing that you're doing, but that is the major problem that most photographers have. They just follow the passion. I'm sorry to say that, but that's the truth. They get carried away with the passion for photography without focusing on the business aspects, like making money, generating other sources of income from what they do, like selling of frames and all that. They just get carried away with taking good pictures, using frequency separation, dodge and burn. I mean a lot of photography groups, and most of them actually focus on creating fine images and then neglecting the business part. Like, you have to make money to feed yourself and your family. So sometimes when they come to me, I'll be like, okay, where's your location? Maybe you're in Anambra or Kano or something. Okay, have you made any analysis of the kind of environment you have, what other people are doing, then what they need in that community as regards to what you offer? They'll be like, no, but I want my pictures to be like somebody in Lagos. You know, they get carried away with the end result of the picture and then they neglect making money, which is why you're in that business. So I try to tell them that the first thing you need to focus on is making money from whatever you do. It's good to have passion for what you do. That's what will drive you during challenges, when you have tough time. But when you focus only on creating fine images and not even satisfying what your customers want, some customers want you to put them on a fake background. But because you already have this thing in your head that I want to do frequency separation on the person's cheek and use a plain backdrop, you know, you neglect satisfying your customers. So I try to tell them that they should focus on the business part, and then your passion can be secondary. Then also, like, according to what he said, most people want to copy. Do you understand what I'm saying? They go on Instagram and all they do all day is to scroll images of Emmanuel, Spotlight, you know. They don't want to sit down and see themselves as a mini god, like he said. You are a mini god in your own little capacity for you to be able to create something from your head. So I would like to talk to photographers who are here that they should try to look within themselves, that you can even do something better than the images you see on Instagram. You don't have to copy the top photographers. You don't have to copy Kelechi. I mean, your pictures cannot look like Kelechi because your name is not Kelechi. You're probably Emeka or something. So you cannot create a Kelechi image. So I tell them to look within, create something from your own Emeka heart. Yes. Do you understand? That's something that even when Kelechi sees it, he'll be like, Emeka, you have done well. But it's not like you trying to copy Kelechi the first month, second month, first year. I mean, some people have left photography school for 2 years and they're still trying to create an image that looks like T.Y. Bello's image. No, your name is Sandra, you're not T.Y. So I try to tell them, sometimes when I chat to them, I'll feel like, I hope I'm not too strict with what I'm saying. But I'll just tell them that, create your image like Sandra, put it on Instagram, let people comment, show your friends and family, let them put their own contribution that, Sandra, you've done well. You don't have to sit down all day and checking images of other photographers. Please, let's stop doing this, please. So these are the major points. Focus on making money. I mean, focus on your bank account. Your passion is secondary. I know it's somehow you are passionate about what you do, I know, but please, that passion should be secondary because you need to pay school fees, maybe because some of them are not family people, so maybe the responsibility is not that much. So please, the passion should be secondary. Then focus on creating something from within yourself. Then the third challenge that I feel that photographers have is not just to Nigerian photographers, because I talk to photographers from different African countries, is about getting enough money to buy gadgets. They get carried away with the latest gadgets also. Even the current gadgets that you have, what have you created with it? What have you produced with the current camera that you have? Now you want to buy mirrorless, you want to buy the new Nikon, so please, I want to beg the photographers that are here that you should focus on your current camera. Even if it's a crop sensor camera, you can still create awesome images with it. Your 18 to 55 mm, you can create good images with it. You don't have to go and buy 85 mm or 50 mm. So photographers sometimes they have this thing in their head blocking them from moving forward because they feel they don't have the right gadgets or the right equipment or camera. So please, that's the third point that I want to give, that whatever you have now, make use of it. Yes, exactly.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So this question will be thrown to the panel. So anyone who can answer to say something about it can say. Now, there's something in photography. Anyone starting off with photo, except you have somebody who can sponsor you, somebody from the back who can drop money for you, set up studio for you, get you all the gadgets. But for many photographers, that's not the case. And they have the skill. So there's a problem of, especially when they want to get a kind of project, they want to get a kind of project done, they have the problem of accessing gadgets, accessing cameras, the lights, to create the quality of image, to put them there, or to even if probably they get the job already, to get the quality of job done. Now, what can the retailers do? Because we have, in the US for instance, we have platforms like Adurama, BMH, where there are rentals done, and the process of getting cameras rented is quite easy compared to Nigeria. In Nigeria, recently there has been a lot of problems with renting cameras because there are no bodies, there's no organization moderating that, and we have people borrowing another person's cameras and it's been stolen, and we have a lot of things going on in that aspect. Now, what can be done what collaboration can the retailers and vendors do to create something of that? And if there is something about that, something that we need to know before that can be done, can you enlighten us on that?
Okay, let me just give my own point of view. The truth is, where there's a problem, there's a business. Manufacturers make cameras to sell. The rental business comes from a different angle. The manufacturers may say, okay, we have these old cameras and we use them for trainings and all that, blah, blah, blah. It depends. Actually, this works as the industry evolves. I've been involved in trying to get cameras that people can rent, trying to bring in even companies that will come and do rentals. If I'm looking at one person now, that me and him are discussing about that right now, and we've been discussing about it for a while. But the truth of it all is this: it boils down to the relationship skill of the individual who is looking for those equipment. How are you able to flow with other people in the industry? I know a lot of photographers that don't have these equipment. In fact, there's a photographer that goes all over the world. He doesn't carry a camera. He just goes with his SD card. He will call in your country, rent your camera, rent your equipment, do his job, get to it, because he had a problem with airports, harassment. So it depends on the individual. Yes, you have Adora, you have all sorts of index fixation and brands like that do rentals. But you see, like he said, because we don't really have a formal segment that approaches photography, which is nobody's fault but our fault, because we've not pushed for it. We have not pushed ourselves into places of policy making. We've not pushed ourselves into influential spots where a day comes when a child in primary school, they ask him, what do you want to be? And the child says, I want to be a photographer. Until that happens, it's going to be a bit difficult. Because if I'm a manufacturer, I can't do rentals. I'm defeating the purpose of selling my products. So someone else takes that, and it should be someone within the sector. But like I said, discussions are playing out, and it will come. But for those who are renting, I know a few people that rent, but they rent based on recommendation and guarantors. That's what's playing out. Then people also rent via their clicks. You get what I mean? Yeah. But for a big production, there are places like Jungle. Jungle is the only one I can remember. There are others. If you put your ear to the ground, you will. But worst case scenario, relationships. Those things will come to play. Thank you.
Okay, so when it comes to capital for business, for your business as a photographer and building your brand, I tend to hear most people say they don't have capital. That is why they have not probably gotten to where they are. My perspective is different. I have come to understand that there's a model that works. And this current generation we are in, we're in a software generation now. We don't like hardware. That's just the practical truth. We don't like hardware. We like everything soft. So you will see somebody who, in fact, if you come to our back end on our system, if you see questions people ask, if you are God, you will not answer. You will not grant people's prayer request. That's the truth. You will not grant people's prayer requests. So now, the first thing I tell people is this: there is capital. There's capital everywhere. But you are the problem. You are the reason why you don't have capital. That's the truth. Let me give you an example. I'm going to use 3 layers, then I'm going to give you one practical approach I apply to myself. Even me as a retailer, I need capital. That's the truth. I need capital as a retailer to scale up my business. Now, in Harvard Business School, I learned that the Igbo business model is being studied in Harvard as a course. People don't want to do apprenticeship. We all believe in degrees without deliveries. These things will not work. We have to calm down, and we have to calm down. Let me tell you, when I finished the school of nursing, when I mean I finished school of nursing, I didn't do nursing in school of nursing. Rather, I finished from a university. So I have a BSc in nursing. While I finish, for me to walk up to my mother and sit down face to face and say all the money, because my school was not accredited, we spent 8 to 10 years in school before I finished. Now, I now say I want to come and start photography. It's madness. It doesn't make sense. So why I brought that thing is that these days you don't see people who want to do apprenticeship. An apprenticeship is capital. Once your boss can find trust in you, there is nothing he cannot entrust with you. So most times people don't want to sit down and sell. When you sell, you naturally climb the ladder of success. So most of us don't want to sit down and gradually learn. Now, I've never seen a mango tree grow in one day. What people want to do is that they just want to become fruits in one day. It's not possible. It's not possible. So I'll share a practical approach I use for my business. So there was a time I needed capital to scale up to a particular level. And what will I do? What will I do in the business phase I am? So God gave me an idea, and that idea is this. You know the Aboki men, they change dollar, they buy dollar from you. Now when you sell to them, what they do is that when you go back and you say you want to buy from them, they will not sell to you at that price. They just, what they did now, they added some money on top of it. So maybe they will add like 5 naira, some will add like 7 naira. So I approached someone and I told her, I said, please, this is what I want you to do for me. Give me dollars to trade. If the official rate is 500 naira, add 7 naira, I will pay you the money back within 4 days. I'll pay you back the money within 4 days. So I'm not doing a longer tenor. I'm doing a short tenor. So if somebody now, the person now sees that, okay, I'm able to get back my capital and I'm able to get a profit within 4 days, I will make money. So we started a cycle. So we started growing it. Because the person trusts me that I could deliver. And since we started, we have not failed. So through that, we started with $1,500. With $1,500. That was a few years ago. I can confidently say that in a month now, we now turn over about $120,000 from just starting by giving that capital. So some of us don't want to serve. Service is your gateway to having capital. That is one way. That is one practical way. So if you do not do that and you say you just want to reach things to happen in this current generation, my brother, it will not happen. So some of us need to approach the place of service. There are some people who have served their way to the top. That's why you will see that. Have you ever gone to the Igbo businessman shop? You will notice that you are more educated than him, but in his pocket he's very deep.
That's true.
He has paid his dues. So some of us are just playing today. Tomorrow will pay. But some of them have paid yesterday, and today they are reaping the fruits of their own. So apprenticeship is one model that will not live there. No matter how, let me use the English, softwareized we become, apprenticeship will still be one of the critical ladders for success. Do you notice now that if you go to most of even the Igbo businessmen now, they are complaining that this current generation, they are no more seeing boys to come and do service. So that is one core way to generate capital, one core way without even having capital. If you serve very well, your boss will diligently reward you. Thank you.
What you said is very deep. The truth is, I'm a product of that. Because while I was working with Kelechi, it got to a point where my mother called me Richard Amadiobi. Because I carried his business on my head like it was my own. Our ethics for business now is very, very poor, especially this generation. They see the big boys today, they don't know what the big boys have gone through to get to where they got to. It's a serious problem, and every sector in this economy is crying about it. Another angle, and then also to portray what he said, I worked on a brand last year, December, and the issue of Harvard studying the Igbo traders came up. I can't mention the brand here. I've forgotten the term, you know? And that brand was going around the markets in the East and giving apprentice awards. It's true, Harvard is studying it. When I left the university, I went to spend time with an Igbo trader in his shop. And I know what I learned there. I mean, he's my friend. I always hear him that he's stingy. But I could see the benefits of what he was doing. From one shop to two, from two to three. Then another Igbo man that taught me something told me, look, Richard, photography. Sometimes as a photographer, you need another business to feed your photography. If you don't have enough funds, get a job. Let the job feed your passion. There's nothing wrong in it. Don't follow the trends. Don't follow everybody. You're not everybody. Let another business feed your photography hunger. The top photography retailers in Nigeria also are even oil and gas. We're talking about it. There are some people that just have it. To be candid, the Igbos have it. But the Bible scripture says, walk through the old pathway, but they have said they will not. That will not be your portion. So, if a certain people have, and they have proof, they say anywhere you don't see an Igbo man, there's no money there. Guy
if they
just
have
choose.
the proof, bros, I humbled myself before I walked to Kelechi, and I had mad hunger, and they said, Richard, come and start with us. If I tell you the salary at the initial, today, young people will not take it. But like I said, my mother called me his son-in-law, Richard Amadi Obi. Why? I carried it on my head. Dedication to service is a major issue. I never thought, I read maths and economics, University of Benin. But I didn't know my experience with the photographer in that room, analog. He made over $1 million in front of me. Would speak later. So he's hitting on the key ingredient. This generation, to a large extent, isn't keen on the hardware areas. Before the major companies you see speaking so much on social media are making impacts, check out their hardware. It's solid. We have to pay the price. So I think the key thing really is, see, I will stop by saying this. I ask people who come to meet me 3 questions. I ask them, how much do you want to make this year? Write it down. Don't be vague. How much do you want to earn in that money? How much do you want to save in that money you want to earn this year? Write it down. The third question is, how much do you want to have when you retire? Write it down. Don't be vague. Now get out and go and do what those who make such money do. That's the task. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So there will be a very last question, and I want each one of us to approach this question from where we are coming from our perspective as whatever it is we do, from the retailer, from the photo finish, from the business side, from where perspective we are coming from. Now, how can retailing in Nigeria generally in photography industry, how can it be improved? Because really we've seen that we are pointing the light generally to the photographers and the people who are actually really bringing the job to the retailers. But now let's take the light in to the retailing sector now. How do you think, seeing how the industry, seeing that there are a lot of people who are actually really coming into it and it's just beginning, there are a lot of people who are still going to flock into the photography industry. Now, projecting at that, how can the retailing industry be improved? The value chain of the value chain of the retailing industry, that means the things they do to provide value, to provide service for the photographers. How can it be improved? Looking at where we are today in the photography industry, what are the things that we can project and say by 2025, by 2026, this is what we should be doing in Nigeria as a retailer? Thank you. Let me start with Otumba.
It's a very important stuff. Now I am recalling when I was attending the class day before yesterday here, Mr. Tosin was explaining about this in short. Here the gadgets we normally before, not now new gadgets have started coming. We using a used cameras and all, it was coming from abroad. So when I use camera, when we buy from abroad, the camera companies or gadgets companies, they are not understanding that the camera is coming to Nigeria. Now when that one comes, I understand that there is a registration that we can register online, the equipments what we use. So when we does that, all photographers does that, the camera companies will recognize, yes, this camera being in use in between Nigerian photographers. And now also when the new cameras, I think most of the cameras are coming from Dubai or some other countries. Not that the camera suppliers are selling directly to Nigeria. So those cameras also, they are treating us sold to those countries where we bought from. Those also has to be registered. Now we can see camera companies are coming in like Sony, Canon, Nikon. But as Richard was saying in yesterday's class, I don't think there is an administrative office directly for them in Nigeria right now. When we involve into this online registration and when we notify all those companies, yes, we are using your product here. You know, Nigeria is a large market for photography instrument producing companies. So if you do, like yesterday when I was hearing them, you know, we need to inform them, okay, we are here. We need to notify them, we are here. We need to give a push also to them, reminder them, yes, we are here. So that those companies will come here. Once those companies come here, we will get a large solution. Like now, some companies have started setting up the repairing areas. I was meeting a person that he is doing repairs of cameras. Even from Ghana, I think people are sending cameras to him here. So he almost getting all the equipment to fix those cameras here. So we need all camera companies has to come here with all repairing facilities so that we will get training from them. We can understand the camera before we even be buying it. Now if you want to buy a camera, we can see online, we can learn from online what are the specifications of that camera. But we cannot use and experience that camera until we purchase it. So that also can happen now when we move further in this way. Thank you.
Okay, I'll take it from this perspective. You know, when I started, I said one of the major problems, challenges we have in this industry is that we don't have a formal educational sector. I should be able to say I want to learn. Okay, take for instance now, let me give you an example. When you finish your degree program, now they are saying BSc is not even relevant. Now everybody wants to do MSc. Then you do MSc. You now finish and you do your PhD. And if you want to go further, if you are in academics, you become a professor. So, but if you check our industry, somebody wants to move from where he is now to another. Say he wants to move from where he is now, a graduate in photography, to MSc level in photography. There's practically none. The question I keep asking, because these were the driving forces that actually pulled me from nursing to saying I want to be a businessman. You know, there are two dimensions of truth. There are truths somebody will tell you. Then there's a truth you will tell to yourself. That's why some people will tell you, tell yourself the truth. Tell yourself the truth. So there are two dimensions of truth. The truth you will tell to yourself will inform the decisions that you will make in life. So I ask myself this core question. Okay, what are the basic values my society needs? Some of you ask yourself, the course you study, is course you studied in university. If you walk down from the end of your street to the other part, how many people are in your streets that need the value of the course you studied in the university? You will not find one. But this creative industry that have created jobs for most of the youth in this country. Today now somebody can just buy a camera and say he's the photographer. He doesn't need to study anything. Just put the camera on nothing. You take a picture and you're done. So I think our priority as a country, we need to redefine we need to change the narrative and let people know that there's dignity in becoming a photographer. There's dignity in becoming a fashion designer, a tailor. I used to tell my friends jokingly that I rather become a professional tailor than to become a professor of electrical and electronics engineering who is using a generator to power his personal library at home. So, what am I trying to say in essence? The quality of information we are getting. Remember, these cameras are devices. Once the camera receives an exposure to light, image will be recorded on the sensor. That is how when we receive receive quality information, it will drive into production, quality production. So we as retailers, that's why you see my passion for education is second to none. I can give anything for education. In as far we get quality education in the sector. So we need to actually invest a lot in education. Let's get formal education. Then I will go to the point where he talked about. Today, one of the most used photography light brands in Nigeria is Goodos. Yet, Goodos does not have a service center here. If your Goodos is bad, you have to take it somewhere else to fix, maybe a local repairer. Let me surprise you. Africa is the largest market for Goodos products in Africa, Middle East, and Asia. But the point is that we have the numbers here. We have the numbers here. But because there are no formal sectors, and there are no data to support that fact, we are not pulling these industries, these institutions down into this country. So what we need to do as a community, is build a community with strong data. And that is what the formal sector does for us.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Ejeta. Let's move to the next panel.
Okay, I'll be very short. We have to look at things from a policy point of view, an educational point of view, as he has said. Because in society, if you do not come to terms with those two aspects, you will just remain irrelevant. Like I said before, we need to walk to the point where a child in primary school will say, I want to become a photographer. When that happens, we know we have gotten it right. So essentially, what we must do, like he has said, is work on the formal approach. I've tried to call Goodos. Are you getting me? But you find out that even trying to communicate with Goodos is an issue. Why? When you speak to Goodos, eventually, do you have a formal body backing you up? Do you have data to suggest that that smart person you talk to in Goodos will listen to you? That's what he's talking about. Do you have what it takes to get their attention to bring them over here? Let's not forget, Africa is the world's best kept secret. When foreigners come to Nigeria, they say, wow, like seriously? A hall like this exists in Nigeria? Fantastic. Why? They never get to know these things. Social media is what exposed Africa, but it hasn't been seen yet. So, buttressing what he's saying, we need to take the bull by the horn. BOP has provided that platform right now, and that initiative has to be pushed. It cannot be left behind after this. See, I can personally say to myself that I will give part of my life for that, because it means something. Anything you get involved that affects everybody's life influences your life even more than what you think for yourself.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Let's move to briefly, please.
Improving the value chain as a retailer in Nigeria, to start with, is capital. So I feel retailers should provide for their end users or their customers a platform where they can pay installments, like instrumental payments. Maybe you pay twice or 3 times, and then you can have your gadgets, or you pay twice. The third payment will be after a month or 2. So I feel retailers can improve the value chain in that aspect of providing instrumental payments. Also, government can also help by providing soft loans for creative people, and this can only be done when we have a body. E.g., we have LASPAN for Lagos. I think people in Kano too, they have a body, but I don't know if the body is registered in Kano. We have a Kano photographer. Is it registered by the government? So I think each state, all the 36 states, including FCT, should have recognized bodies by the government or whoever is in charge in that state that can provide soft loans for photographers and creative people in that industry. And also we need to collect data properly as a retailer. Those are the ways we can improve our value chain and improve the creative industry in Nigeria. We need to improve on data collection. For instance, we want to bring Sony or Godox, like you said, to Nigeria. We don't even have a data to present to them. If we have proper data collection, like, okay, we have like 500 photographers in Ikeja, 500 photographers in Lekki, 1,000 photographers from all states. If we can come together as retailers and have a body that collects data for us, it will be a good way to improve the value chain. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So that's the end of my question. But I'll take two questions. Two questions from the audience. If there are no questions, then we can round up this session. Two questions from the audience. Anyone? If you have a question, please raise your hand. Okay, there's one person.
Contribution. Sorry. Good morning, everybody. I'm coming back. You're a churcher. So, for over the week, everybody has been talking about policies, creating bodies, creating entities, government recognizable entities that could. But nobody talks about the practical steps. Now, just like you said last time, you said LASPAN is there, but the new generation sees LASPAN as oldies club. Now, if this new generation can be taught how to create this body, don't we feel okay? They can create a body that at least we saw the youth movement for end SARS and all. These people, they are capable of doing this. But there's no, like you said, there's no formal education towards this thing. So there's no training how to create bodies. We're photographers, we're creatives. Everybody just wants to, I just want to shoot, nobody cares about what anybody's doing. In as much as I'm making 5 million today, I don't care if anybody's making it. That's the reality. Only if I get called by my own, somebody immediately by my side that is up to my level, that I care about, okay, let's educate people. But me on my own, personally, to come and, okay, for instance, Gazmadu or Realike, this and all, they did Project X, that's fine. But do we even have education? Like, you people have been talking about creating policies, but can we go into, okay, what are the processes involved in creating those policies? What can we do to implement these things you are saying?
Okay, just in very short, as you said about LASPAN, I'm a patron of LASPAN. So now we are developing a lot. We are involving more youth into LASPAN. Even a youth has done a very huge program a few months before for LASPAN, an educative program. Also, we have a LASPAN Academy now, and we are in the starting stage, and we are going to have some studio for practical trainings, and we are going to have some top-end photographers to train photographers. But for all the benefit of this one, join LASPAN, so all the benefit what is coming up, all youth can enjoy it. We are concentrating on the youth to develop.
Okay, please, about what you said, yes, it's not that you are wrong, do you get? It's because there's no proof of what LASPAN is doing, do you get? So, and that's one of the reasons why a person like me join, do you get? So that I can't judge them over the fence. I have to belong. So the question is, you have to join. So when you complain, they will listen. Because I find out that they don't want to be the frontier because they look that they are old. So the innovative comes from the young people, but they cannot come and drag you by force. So the academy is talking about, you don't know. At the academy, a link to a reputable schools. But if this stuff did not come now, you will not know. So let me not take.
Let me just quickly add this. There's a creative bill that came up some months back. I don't have all the details, but how it affected me directly was this. Somehow a bill came up, and it doesn't allow for people to bring in models from outside the country.
Okay.
It doesn't allow for people to bring experts from outside the country to come and do shoots.
Yes.
It attracts a penalty of $100,000 US.
Yes.
Are you getting me?
Yes.
Someone put that together.
Yes.
And we as creatives need, and we've been speaking with Kola, and things are happening. We need to position ourselves to be what? To speak on behalf of that little guy who's about to hold the camera, so that he will have an enabling environment, and it's better than it is now, to practice.
Thank you very much. Let me give a female, and this is the last person, a female the opportunity to ask a question, and this is the last person who will be asking a question.
Hello, my name is Mary. Mine is not many questions, but over the years, I'm in the creative world though. I'm not a photographer, but I do photography, and I make money from it. Yeah. So I remember before the COVID hit the world, we were doing something that we call Lagos Walk photography. And I remember then, you just come out with your camera and let's walk from Lekki to Ikeja, or from Ikeja on that bridge to somewhere I don't really know, Lagos then. That was what I did. That was 2018 or so, or 2016. Then after a while, we stopped. It didn't stay for a long time. And I was imagining in my mind, who are these organizers? And why can't they just keep something and make it work? So one thing I observed that we creatives have is that, one, we are not ready to push beyond our boundaries. Then two, we want to take over that little circle we have, and we don't want anybody to take that space. Three, if I have a job and I know I cannot do it, instead of me to call my creative, I either try to swingle myself into it or find a way how the other person will not have it. But I think it's time for us to stand out. I think it's time for us to have bodies like this, and we have people to call upon for things. I think it's time for us to create a relevant and link or website or something that works, like Fiverr. I don't know if anybody knows it. Freelance and other stuff in Africa, not just in Nigeria. I remember they started it, and I know I joined the African.
All of them.
These people, DSTV, or what did they call Multi-Choice. Multi-Choice started it, but I don't think it's even working. So I think, thank God for gathering like this. I like solutions. I don't like talk. Give me problems. Give me solutions. Can we that are here put our pen, our names, and our numbers together? Create a group. Now we are creatives. We are good. Let's create a group. Create a link. Let's start doing something. I remember I wanted to start something called Gathering of Professionals. And what was that all about? It's for all professionals to come together, be able to list our jobs, tell people, oh, I heard of this. Do you know about it? How can we get this? So I don't know how we can do something. And make
Fantastic.
Thank you.
The first statement you made, you're not a photographer, but let me just educate us on that area. It's either you are a hobbyist, an enthusiast, or a professional.
I am a professional creator.
No, you're not getting in photography.
Okay.
It's either you're a hobbyist, an enthusiast, or a professional. Thank you very much. But your comments are awesome.
Thank you very much. This will be the end of this session. A round of applause for our panelists, please.
Hey.
So Camera Joints brought some things for participants of the class. So we do a raffle quickly to share it. So after the picture.
Okay, I beg my own. You don't say the my own. Okay. Oh, Oga dey around. Oga dey around. Oga. Am I blocking? Oh, sorry. Bros, no tell them they go. 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 Men, I wait for my own. though. I dey look for exposure. Nah,